Computer. Okay, everyone, thanks for people who are watching the recording of this. It's Coach Steve. We are on the PB Hit Squad Thursday, and today's topic is close to my heart because it's from Ironman, coming live from the race site in Youghal for Ironman Cork. We have a lot of people down doing the 70.3 on Saturday, and I personally am doing the full on Sunday, and a lot of other of the squad are doing it. So it's great to catch up. So being relevant and multitasking, I'm going to go talk a little about how to handle taper madness and also things you should do in your A race, league up the A race. I did a little YouTube on this earlier, and by the way, like and subscribe if you haven't already. It's very important for my numbers. But what I want to do is go through a little more detail. We'll open up Q&A and make it a bit more, we can deep dive into some of this rather than the 4 or 5 minute video slot. So one thing I always do, and again, people laugh because it is my 10th Ironman and it's over 12 or so 70.3s. I always read the race brief and I read it cover to cover. And now with the advent of video briefs, I always watch them as well. And I typically actually, I'd watch the video brief more so than if I have to go to an on-site briefing because it's easier. And the reason I do this is because there are some sort of nuances with certain races that you need to kind of catch up on. There's there can be no pass zones that you need to know. Certain races allow you to wear your bib number under the wetsuit. Some others don't allow you to wear it. I'm going to pin myself actually. The others don't allow you. You have to have the number on the bike, or you don't have the number on the bike. So as much as Ironman is trying to unify its races and its rules, there are differences on that. So that's why I watch. And also there's other things that will feed into the race strategy doc. The thing that, remember we did that session there, I think it was 2 weeks ago. But in terms of if there's anything changes to where the racks are going to be, where the mount line is going to be, the dismount line, and this gives you, and also where the aid stations are and what's being handed out at the aid stations, these kind of key things. So you're getting info for your race strategy document, which otherwise is just a kind of a skeleton doc. So it's vital that you get this information from it. But as I said, the briefings when they're on site, I tend to skip them because you'd have to arrange a whole day around it, where the video you can just click on, as in I'm going to watch the video again tonight and just see if there's anything I've missed. So do read, for all the men on the call, do read the bloody manual. It's actually very useful. Walking the course and getting familiar. People ask me, how soon should you go out to a race beforehand? Now, in an ideal world, I came down here on Wednesday, right? I came down and the race is until Sunday. Now, this is not me trying to escape my girlfriend, although there's benefits. I come down because I have loads of time to get things done. If things go wrong, I can get them sorted. Like I went out in the bike today, tested the brakes, the gears. I found my Garmin was down to 0, so grand, I can charge that, but there's no problem with the adapter. But not only will I have that, I get all those stressful events ticked off. And then also I will have time I can see them build a course. So I can see where the swim course is, where the swim entry is, where the swim corrals are going to be fixed. I can check out where the transition 1 is, check out where transition 2 is. My training runs today were actually on, I did 1 loop of the course of the 10K loop. Actually not the 10K loop, I did 10K of one of the main loops. So I'm comfortable where the turn points are. It's just, I'm now really, really comfortable in terms of what the course is. Now, tomorrow, after I just wander around the town, I'll see and I'll walk the course and I'll mentally draw out, again, inputs for your race strategy document. Where is my rack number? Where's my bike? Where are they putting the bag racks for the blue bags for the swim to bike? Where are they putting the run bags, the red bags, the bike to run? And what I now know my number, which is now 449, if anyone wants to track me. Again, all really valuable inputs to go into the your race strategy doc. Also, as part of my race strategy doc, I'll have a little mini doc, which is going to be literally, I'm I need to be at the swim start for, I think, 7 a.m. So I need to know, now that I know where I'm staying relative, I'm in an Airbnb really close to swim start. I can work backwards what my plan for the day is. I want to be there at around 6:30 with my wetsuit on, just sort of get a bit of atmosphere, see what's going on. That means I need to leave here at 6. Do I need to go down to transition beforehand? That means I need to leave here at 5:30. What time do I need to set my alarm? What time am I going to eat my breakfast? What time will call nature happen? And to make sure that I don't have to visit the porta potty of hell. So that's how I'll do. I'll work back and in chunks of time. As in, for me, race day, I do tend to get down and I do check my bike the morning of, even though it's a bit of a walk from the swim start, just because even though you rack it the night before, things can get bumped into. People can knock your bike computer a little sideways. You don't want to be dealing with that when you come out of the water. You want everything pristine. Your tires might need a little bit of a reinflating because it's going to be very hot in Cork, ironically enough. So I will take pressure out of my tires the night before, so they won't, if it gets really hot in the morning, that they won't swell up to the point where they might actually burst and cause me a serious issue in the morning. So I'll take the pressure out of them down to probably 60 psi. On the morning, I'll pump that back up to around 100 psi. But again, I'll know that in 1.5 hours time, when I come meet my bike again, there's no surprises. So again, that's how I literally plan those chunks of time. And trial run all the equipment for check-in. And again, this is what today has been my bike test. And go out for 60 minutes, cycle a little bit on the course again, which is great because you can see that they've actually swept the roads in Cork. Like there was scree or little rocks beforehand on it. That's all. I think every single member of the community's come out and swept the roads, which is bananas. So I'm comfortable with that. My bike's working. My setup's good. On a hot day, I pay particularly more attention to my hydration setup. My bottle cage is working easily enough? I'm comfortable taking it out? How am I going to store my extra fuel because it's going to be hot? I'm going to take on a little bit more carbs. Checking whether or not the Garmin's are showing the right screens for me. I'll talk about that in a little bit, how we do that. And then, so I'm comfortable with that. I also went for a run in my tri-suit today with the runners and with my visor. Found out that one of the race belts I was using, the elasticity is gone in it. So whenever I have gels in it, it's actually slipping off me. So I need to replace that. That's fine. I'm going to replace that, but that's not going to be a pain in my ass on the marathon when I find out, God, it keeps on slipping down and I'm pulling it up, which would be really annoying. So these are why you literally test all the pieces of your equipment in the run up. Top tip 5: take time to plan to complete your packing. Again, with an Ironman, with this bag system, people get a bit panicked about it, but at the end of the day, you just think about it as a process, right? You go, okay, what am I going to do first? I'm going to swim first. So what do I need to do? I need to put anything in a bag? No, I'm going to have to. I need my wetsuit. I need my goggles. I need their swim cap. Again, the race brief. Can I wear my race belt under my wetsuit? I can't in this one. Okay, so that goes in my bike bag. But for me, and I'll lay it out, literally, I clear out a complete space on the floor. I'll actually send you a picture when I do it. I'll lay out the wetsuit as if a man is in it, and I put the goggles on top and my heart rate monitor and everything goes in. Okay, grand. I know he's there. And then I have my bike bag, my blue bag, and I have there, okay, what goes in that? The helmet, my shoes, or am I allowed to leave my shoes on the bike? I need to check that in the brief. If I am, I leave them there. The elastic bands that are going to tie the bike, the shoes in place. What a bit of extra sunscreen in my blue bag. And I'll literally have them all laid out. Okay, so I'm comfortable, that's there. And then my red bag, what do I need to do? And again, okay, so I'm coming off my bike, I'm racking my bike. I now going into tent. I now take off my helmet. I need to put on my sun visor, my sunglasses, my runners, my second race belt if I'm going to use it, and with the gels on. And I see it there. I lay it all out and I take a picture, because when you do rack the bikes the night before, you don't want that sit up in the middle of the bed moment going, oh my God, have I put my where's my timing chip? They're like, la la la. And so you know where everything is, and you can see in the picture where it is. It's just reassuring. And then you write out your race strategy. Last thing you'll do with all these pieces of information and all the rest, you write out your race strategy and have it handy to refresh yourself. Now, we did do this on the previous session in terms of how to build out a race strategy in terms, so I won't go into it too much, but if you think about what we've talked about there, the extra piece of information you'll get from the race brief are location of the aid stations, when the climb starts, location of the aid stations on the to do run course. The other things you'll find out from when you walk the course, you'll find out where their swim exit is, your bike, your blue bag location, your red bag location, where the bike is going to be when you come out of the water, where your bike needs to be put when you come back into T2. They're the kind of information. The other pieces you put in terms of your literal mini plan for the morning. When you get up, do you take your coffee? Do you have a shower? Do you want to go to the toilet? La, la, la. And you have all these things in blocks of time. All about removing your ability to overthink it. And then you have your picture of your bag and all the rest. These things take time, and that's again why I actually plan to come to a race venue 2-3 days beforehand. And also, by the way, the queues into the registration were bananas today and all the rest, and people trying to buy everything in the expo. You just try to avoid that. If you come early, you can figure out the best time to go to register. You don't have to queue and take time off your feet. So these are things that you should do over the in your run up to your race. Okay. All right. I'm going to throw it open to any questions there on those items there. Is anyone, any queries on any of the top 6 tips there, or anything they'd like to add?
Deflating down to the 60 psi on the bike is probably helpful. I did a little bit of deflating for my Muskoka one 70.3 last year, and I definitely did way too much because I ended up having a pinch flat right out of T1. So that's a good tip.
Yeah. No, don't leave a little bit of air in it, and all rest, because otherwise, and again, giving yourself a bit of time getting there. Like if you're there an hour and you have if you notice that you've made a balls of the tire, you can get to the service mechanic, but guarantee there's a queue there. And if you have to queue and it's taken, it's just stress. And all of these things are just about taking energy away from you. So yeah, no, it is a top tip. And also a lot of people panic and go like, what a track pump. I have never seen so many track pumps in my life in any Ironman event. Like, I love people, every single person brings a track pump, and they go, and there's thousands of them. There's probably more track pumps than there are bikes. So that's the one thing, if it's a skimp or not carry with me, track pump gets left behind. Well, you see, now there'll be one day on Sunday where there actually is the dearth of track pumps. Kenny, anything you're picking up there in terms of your taper madness?
No. Now, when you're talking about deflating them for the temperature, how high is the temperature? I mean,
with the temperature is here predicted to be 28 to 30 on the degrees on Sunday. So it depends on, again, yes, is that enough to swell up a tire and pop it? Possibly not, but it depends on where you are in transition. If the sun's baking down straight on that tire, it can actually sort of like just swell up even a little bit. And when you're talking about having too much pressure on a tire, lads who go for 120 psi to kind of minimize the rolling resistance, that tire is pushing out at the side. So like, you do any kind of additional heat to expand that, it can pop. So for the sheer sake of reducing the stress of knowing that you're going to go in and you've allocated yourself 5-10 minutes just to go in, pump your tires before you head off to swim, it's just worth it for just peace of mind.
okay, because I had to Google what 28 and 29 is so I can know what the temperature is. So those right now are our normal daily temperatures.
Okay, well,
so that's the reason I was wondering if I needed to be doing that or not.
Probably not at that stage. If you're spoiled for a climate like that now, Kenny, I won't ever hear you about complaining about the climate ever again.
Yeah, we're one day we can be that temperature, the next day 10 or 15 degrees less. So it never know what it's going to be.
Wow. Well, that's actually another good point, by the way, in terms of the packing, by the way, something I recommend. Now, again, everything for this weekend is the temperature's expected to be hot and all the rest. If you look back to 2019 when they did Ironman Cork, the weather was very similar the day before. As I know, it was hot and sunny, and everyone goes, "Oh, it's going to be brilliant. Yeah, awesome." But literally, a cold front moved in and they had a storm that bad that they had to cancel the swim. So I was looking at the weather. And by the way, when you're looking at the weather and you're trying to kind of figure out what's going on, anything more than 3 days in advance, you're just wasting mental energy. But I saw that they had the prediction that it was going to be wet and windy. And I said, look, guys, this might sound daft, but I want you to put in a warm cycling jacket in your blue bag. And I want you to put a warm top in your run bag. And they go, "Oh, but it's really sunny." I said, "Trust me." And the phrase is, it's better to be looking at it rather than looking for it. Now, so guys, and also even think about when you think about packing and what you're bringing to a race venue, I bring everything. As I said, like, so even though everyone's laughing, I have like a wind jacket, I have a rain jacket, and it will go into the bag because, to be honest, as in, if I don't even have to use it, it just stays in the bag. If by some freak of nature that it becomes quite windy and hot or whatever on the day, I have a wind jacket. So that's probably something more for yourself, Kenny, when you're sort of going, like, if your temperatures or your weather can be vary wildly, you just pack for everything.
Yeah. Well, to give you an idea, Saturday morning, and I just converted it over to Celsius, we'll be around starting to swim around 14 or 15 degrees.
Yeah.
And by that afternoon, we'll be up 27, 28.
That's quite a change over the period of a couple of hours, isn't it?
Yeah. So.
Wow. That's yeah, and you'd prefer it to be hot when you're in the water.
and the current water temperature is 77 degrees. So.
Oh, okay. It'll be all right. Yeah, no, I see. The funny thing is, those temperatures at this stage are frightening all the Irish people because we're not used to the big orange thing in the sky watching over us when we race. So everyone is bananas buying up all the salt tablets they can in the world. And which is going to happen is everyone's going to overdose on salt. Well, no, let's not do that, lads. But it is funny. As in, I think I'm going to start up a black market. I think where I start selling salt tablets for high extortionate prices. Now, Callum, how are you fixed now in terms of anything there that you've picked up in terms of packing or preparation for Ironman Italy that you wouldn't have thought of beforehand?
I'm super methodical with the packing list as well. I massively overthink it. It's quite funny with my last race. I had a friend doing his first ever duathlon, and I had this enormous checklist of everything that you have to have, like you say, laid out by, you arrive there, then what do? You put on your swim stuff, then what do? Like action by action. So yeah, I'm very much on the same page as you on this.
Yeah, and look, I'm a big fan of lists, and just as I said, half the time, as in I don't use anything, but the girlfriend just goes, "Really?" And I went, "Yeah, just want it." And that's the first Ironman I've actually had to go to, which I did not involve getting on a plane. So it was absolutely perfect because I have a system at home where I have a big box where is my swim stuff. I have a big box that is my bike stuff and my winter bike and my winter bike stuff and my summer bike stuff. And then my run stuff. So what I literally did was I took the boxes and I just put them in the back of the car and I put the bike on top of it. And now it filled the car. And she goes, like, "You're going to Cork. You are not going to," it doesn't matter. As I said, I can just in there and I can pick out. And if I decide to wear my pink runners, I should wear my pink runners. I have the option. And and I thought I got everything. And I thought I was very, very smart. And I put a picture on Facebook and said, "Look, I managed to get my toothbrush. I've managed to and I bought 2 pairs of underpants for 5 days, which is a bit awkward. But I'm definitely going to buy some M.Dot branded ones because I'm sure that I won't spend to the nose of that. And it'd be really important I spend $50 on a pair of jocks. So maybe I need to expand my list.
The only one that you didn't mention that I sometimes forget and always wish I had is plastic bags for T1 and T2, just to put your helmet in to keep it from the rain and stuff like that. Put your cycling shoes in them if it rains while you're swimming.
Oh yeah.
That's caught me out a few times. I've just wished I've had like just a waterproof bag to put my shoes in on my helmet.
Oh yeah, that's actually not bad call.
Rains a lot in Scottish
and
races.
plastic bags aren't as prevalent as they used to be, with correctly so for the environment. I might add that to my list. Jerry, in terms of your recent 70.3, is there anything there you picked up that you would have done differently, or?
So Callum's bang on. It was funny. We have recycling bags in Canada, so that's what I used. Because the 70.3 I had done, we ended up going into a torrential downpour for most of the ride. So by the time we got to our run, it was just, everything was totaled. So highly recommend that one. The only other observation I'd make, I'm pretty methodical, but your ideas of writing down the strategy, I think it is a great idea, just to give you something when you're burning those hours of anxiety before the race.
Yeah, and it literally is. It helps with the visualization. It helps with the kind of, and as I said, I also write in mantras, as in I have specific mantras or powerful statements I will repeat to myself when things start going wrong, and they do. So like tomorrow for the swim mantra, it'll be like was it fast feet, as in I'm trying to get on people's feet and actually try to catch them. And so when you kind of find yourself drifting off and start worrying whether or not you've left on the immersion or left the car running, you're like, you say these things and it refocus you. Right. On the bike, it's going to be for Ironman Cork, the road surface can change very quickly. So that's going to be like on point, as in, so either aero or on point, as in really be aware of what the road surface is like. And then just in terms of running, and just form and catch. By the time I get out on the bike, there'll be lots of people to chase on the run, and that's if I keep going that way, and I just remind myself I have to pass the next guy. Like, then these will just turn into statements. Again, that's one of the sessions I will do on mental preparation, and a bit more on sort of how to get your mantras, how to do your visualizations, etc., and how to look at your training numbers to reduce that pre-race anxiety and jitters. But having it to read it, you're right. It's just going to listen. I have everything thought through. There will be some spanners that are thrown in the works, but I'll have to adapt to them on the day. But having it where, listen, 80-90% of the scenarios I have covered. Right. Everything else is a little bit of adaptation. Pete, in terms of your experience in Mallorca, anything there that you did do or you didn't do, or?
Well, I took a little bit less time in transition from Lanzarote anyway. That was a start. I think I will wear a tri-suit next time under my wetsuit, because I was fiddling around with stuff unnecessarily. And yeah, other than that, just to get through transition quicker was really the only thing that I could think of. I think I had the nutrition. We went through it, you and me, Steve, and another fellow who was doing it. So we went through that, and I was happy with that. I think it worked well. So yeah, it's just how to get cheap wins with a few little tricks like that, so
yeah, that's another thing as well. I am going to do a transition workshop as well, in terms of, we cover some of it in the race strategy where there's some little kind of hints and tips, but I was actually just thinking through it in terms of I'm going to prepare some videos in terms of bike dismounting, flying mounts, etc., of me doing it, and there will be a blooper reel, because I guarantee I'm going to make an absolute balls and wipe myself out on it a couple of times, but we'll share that for the comedy value. So I am going to do a transition session on that as well. And definitely it's something that you could say 5 minutes in each of your T1 and T2. Now, I know you're new to the sport and you've done very well with the 2 hard Ironman, half Ironman you've done. But as I said, for me to take 10 minutes off your run time, that's monumental. But if you take 5 off T1, 5 off T2, you're already quids in,
Absolutely. Like, I mean, from the first one, you know, I was drying between my toes and putting talcum powder in my bum, and you know, the whole lot, like, stuff, and having a chat with people. Yeah. Oh
You just
God.
need to
Oh
knock that
God.
social side out of you, and the
Yeah.
bum talcumine, I think, also.
Yeah, there was a 72-year-old guy in the T2 in Lanzarote, and he headed out of the tent ahead of me. And anyway, I got up and I saw him up ahead about maybe 750 meters, and then it just occurred to me he's 72 and he's after he's already ahead of me at T2, you know.
Yeah, but again, that's also the wonderful thing you'll see about all the races. You'll turn up and there's people of all sorts of ages, sizes, and like I love there recently watching the USA triathlon, the Iron Nun. I think she's done around 20 Ironman and stuff. Like, she's 92 and she won her age group in the USA national triathlons. And you're sort of going, okay, how many other people are in the 90 to 95 group? However, how impressive that she's still doing triathlons at 92 years of age. Like,
wow,
unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
So that's my plan, how to get to Kona. I just have to outlive everybody. I may not be able to outstay a bike or run them, but I'm gonna make some sort of pact with the devil, hit like 105. 100 to 105 age group. That's my time when I was shining. Here's open anyhow.
Yeah.
Maggie, how are you fixed now? Maggie is also down. She's doing the 70.3 on Saturday in Cork. How are we fixed? With any of those tips resonate or anything new?
I think I've been listening enough for the couple of weeks. So momental state is I'm calm, which is good. I'm weirdly calm because I did the work. I packed the stuff. Sun's gonna shine, which is I love the sun. So I think I'm gonna be the only one there not complaining about the heat. I don't know all the tips. I know how the Olympic feels. So I'm kind of good in packing and organizing. Weirdly, I was prepared for bad weather. So today I was dealing with the question. Thanks for answering that already about my tire is gonna burst in the sunshine being there racked for a whole day. So I thought it's a stupid girl's question, but as I see, it's not. So I was thinking the good direction. Hold on.
You all right?
Sorry, my cat just brought the mouse inside. I have to hold on.
Jason, sort that out.
That's what I just said. Go and catch them. She's a house cat. She brings it as a present here, you know, second time already. Oh my God. Whatever. Back to triathlon. I have a husband to deal with this. So where did it go? You know? Oh. I throw a bottle on her. Where did it go? Cycling with there. Must have get out. Sorry guys. Back to triathlon. What I was saying. I got distracted now.
You're good with the mental focus. You're good with the mental focus. You were saying you're good at staying on point.
Yeah, I was distracted by the socks because I was so prepared for the cold. You know, like I tried like a kind of like a winter comfy socks. You know, and I had packed them, and I'm like, oh, that's gonna be warm. So now I'm panicking about being like, what socks I'm gonna wear, and then I extended to thinking like, oh man, the socks are pink and my tri-suit is orange and black and doesn't match. So that was kind of my biggest problem, you know, the color scheme, you know. Can you imagine? So that's what I'm dealing with at the moment with the mouse.
This is why we keep race strategy documents to the important points, like your heart rate, your number, the equipment.
Yeah, so I think I'm ready with all the. I would say I'm a good student. I'm ready with everything else. Now just the color scheme is the issue, you know? Like what color of socks I'm gonna wear with my matching outfit. So this is all good. I don't know. I just did the work. I try to be calm, keep it simply, and listen. Thank you all. I'm ready. I'm ready, and let's see what it brings. You know, important question. That's what I had on my list. Silly or not silly? Don't laugh at me, guys. It's women's sports bra considered nudity?
No, as long as
You
you're
know, like
covering
when,
the bits. No,
because I don't have the heart rate monitor you can swim with, so I will put it on T1. So I will put the sleeves down, you know, and I will put it.
When you say you don't have the heart rate monitor you can swim with,
the blue one, you know, blue Garmin. I have
there's a little bit misnomer on that. You can wear that heart rate monitor in the water, and it will only start picking up when you come out of the water. So
I love you.
Yeah, it's not as if they are waterproof to a certain extent, but the data won't work until you're all out of the water. That's when the Garmin will be able to pick it up, because it can't pick up the signal through the water. But when you're out and you're there, so just wear it under the wetsuit, and then it will pick up once you start on the bike.
Oh, that's perfect. I thought I will break it if I wear it. Oh, I'm so sorry.
They're all at least what you call it, some way waterproof to a certain distance, but they just don't function. And even if you think about it, you're not fully immersed in water under the wetsuit, as in it's only a little layer of water that gets in. Yeah, so don't worry, that's the one thing you can worry about afterwards.
Yeah, because I was not sure if I remove it, if the bra is gonna be like, oh, she's nude, but it's sports bra. Well, I wasn't sure. Now I am.
And again, like some of these rules, the nudity, the kind of littering, like this stuff.
Yeah,
you do your best to keep an eye on it. Or someone was worried about in the Facebook group about if I hand over and swap my run visor in because it's too sweaty, will I get qualified? Remember, like these guys, none of us are at the front end of it where they're trying to make an example and kind of some of the rules. It's going to be Ireland. They're going to be a little bit laid back on the rules there's a certain allowance because it's hot and things are going to have to help a little bit. So if someone hands you a cold drink or allows you to splash water on your face, are they going to disqualify you for outside assistance? No, they're not.
All right.
So a little bit of common sense will be applied by the TOs, I suspect.
Oh yeah, because I was listening to the how we call it, the brief and everything, just trying to remember. But at some point it starts to be overpowering. Even like all the chats on Facebook, I was just like, oh my god, it's just too much for me. I just keep with what you said, you know, what I learned, what I've done. Like when I heard like salt tablets, first thing was like, Jesus, I don't have any. And then I got like, come on, Maggie, you love the sun, you know, you're gonna, you know, you don't even need sunscreen. Like I don't use sunscreen because my skin is fine, you know, so that's one issue less. I'm not gonna burn, or I'm not gonna, my sweating is kind of all right. So I was doing, like you said, lots of electrolytes for 2 weeks prior, hydrating prior, you know, so I'm good. Good food. So that's also like I'm really looking for. I'm more excited than nervous. Like I'm excited for the expo and for the bus and for the people and it's gonna. I'm gonna try to come early, register.
And it is. There's a great
walk around, you know.
Yeah,
like
there is a great buzz around the town, and that's also something I say to people as well. And I probably need to put in don'ts in terms of this. Do get early, get the things done, do absorb some of the natural energy and the buzz from the race, but don't hang around too long, because people sort of like, you'll hear some people talking about stuff and you go, I haven't done that. Or, that doesn't matter. That's their plan. That's their approach. And other people start suddenly comparing themselves to, oh my God, he looks so much taller. He looks so much stronger. He looks so much leaner. And you go like, hang on, this is just suddenly the positive energy and the excitement is spilled into negative energy. So you need to absorb, walk away from it, and then just sit down, chill out, feed up, eat well, drink well, go over your race strategy, because everything can turn into kind of just energy draining. Like, and also if you end up walking around the expo for hours and walking around talking to people, you're on your feet, you're wasting energy. You need to kind of sit down. And again, it's back to that Tour de France mentality. You know, why stand when you can sit? Why sit when you can lie down, etc., etc. Especially in like just take your tapers as seriously as possible. All right. Okay, so that's the main topics I wanted to cover in terms of what's happening for me. Is there any queries or questions anyone want to ask about other try things that I haven't covered? I know I said I'd talk a bit about the Garmin setup. I think I'll say that for another session, but one kind of thing I have learned, I think most people, as I said, have a Garmin and use triathlon mode. And there's one kind of new tip that I picked up from another athlete, which I hadn't used before. When you use a Garmin and triathlete mode, it literally takes what you've set up in terms of your open water swim, as in the data fields you see, and then when you press the button and it turns into transition mode, and then you press another button and it turns into the bike mode and it shows whatever you've got set up for your road bike, and then you hit the other button again and transitions, records a transition, press that, and then you're into run mode. One of the key tips I picked up just the other day was I never used to have any alerts set up on my watch. I used to go, right, I'll just swim. I can't look at the watch, it's no use to me. But he said there is an ability on the Garmin to set up auto alert when you pass 400 meters in the water, so it buzzes on your arm. And I think that's brilliant, because normally another way you just feel like you're not going anywhere else. We said, and you literally will feel it on your arm. So you go buzz and go, okay, grand, that's me. And you, in your mind, then you're going, okay, that's an eighth of the way of the course done. And for the half guys, that's a quarter done, more or less, and it helps you keep on track. So that's another little tip I picked up that I'm going to implement for my race day on Sunday. So auto alert on your open water swim session. And I'll actually I'm going to do a little video on that actually and show you, because at least it's easier if I can actually have the camera looking at the watch, and I'll show you the different sections of which buttons you press. There you go.
Steve.
Yes.
The timer alert, if you've set it up under the road section, that should carry through to the triathlon, correct?
Yes, absolutely. As I said, that's literally what the triathlon mode essentially does. It takes whatever data fields you have set up for your open water swim and your outdoor bike and your run. So that includes if you have a timer alert set up, or you have an auto lap or an auto pause. Hopefully you don't need to use the auto pause in the race mode, but all of those features will be active. All it does is triathlon mode, it literally strings them together with the transition piece in the middle. So that's why I think Malcolm was asking about what data fields does he display for his Ironman in Italy? And I was going, look, you're going by power, have average 10-second power, have it duration, distance, and heart rate as well, and cadence. And he goes, okay, that's a lot, but you can set it up in a way that it auto scrolls as well. So you can have the first page is going to be your speed, or average speed, distance. And then the second page can be like your power data. And the third page can be your heart rate data, average heart rate, current heart rate, yada, yada. And it can scroll across, but you set that up on your road bike, outdoor bike option, and triathlon mode will activate that when you're going along.
Cool.
All right. Okay.
The only other one I would add to that is make sure you've got the thing on for lock keys and the swim. So yes. Because if you, to be honest, maybe in all of them, because if you hit the lap button, just because you're used to doing it when you run or something, it'll end the run mode and send you into like, that's it, finished. Or in the swim, you bash them all the time.
Yeah, and also another one as well, that if, and it happens a lot in the bike computer, because the ones are sensitive to touch screen, if you're a big blob of sweat drops on it, or a drop a bit of, it can actually kind of hit a pause button. So yeah, the key lock is good as well. Good calls. All right, folks. Any other queries or questions?
Nope.
All righty. Okay, cool. So what we'll do is we'll wish Kenny good luck in his B race this weekend. All set, Kenny?
Thank you.
Good man.
All the best, Kenny.
Wish Maggie good luck in her 70.3.
Oh.
Good luck.
Yeah. And Jerry, it's not this, I have to go check. It's you are next week, isn't it?
Next week.
Next week. Okay, so we'll catch you up there, but enjoy the last week. Callum, keep healing.
Good luck, everyone.
Callum, keep healing. Peter, Mac, hope you get well soon, and we will have a Next week, I think I probably will do something like a post-race review because it's what I'll be doing and it makes sense and it's easier to do it as I go through it, unless people have specific areas you want to cover. And we can use Kenny as an example as well, and also Maggie.
And also Steve, good luck on Sunday.
Thank you.
Yeah, best of luck, everybody.
Good luck.
Cheers.
So without be out shouting. Okay, listen, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll check in on next week. I'll send out the invite for next Thursday. But thanks for participating and have a lovely day.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers all.
Bye-bye.